The sun burned low over the dusty horizon, casting long, jagged shadows across the frontier. Town of Red Creek, saloon. Doors rattled in the late afternoon wind, and the faint scent of gunpowder still lingered in the air from an earlier skirmish at the far edge of the settlement. In the heart of this lawless stretch of land, men whispered about the woman who had vanished almost as quickly as she had appeared, the one who had saved Deputy Wyatt Kane from a death he had believed certain. Nobody knew her name, though the few who had glimpsed her spoke of piercing green eyes and a calm that could freeze a rattlesnake mid-strike. She had saved him, and in doing so, set herself on a path that would make her the most feared outlaw in the West. Wyatt leaned against the creaking post of the sheriff's office, nursing the bruised shoulder he had earned in that narrow escape. His hat was tilted low, shielding his face from the harsh sunlight, though he hardly noticed the glare. He thought of her often, the way she had appeared from the shadows, twin pistols in hand, moving with the precision of a dancer and the lethal grace of a viper. They had faced a gang of cattle rustlers, 5 men strong, all armed to the teeth. Wyatt had been cornered, his revolver empty, when she had emerged from the alley behind him and without a word shot down each man with cold efficiency. He had expected her to vanish like a ghost afterward, and she had, leaving nothing but the faint echo of footsteps and the smell of gunpowder. But the frontier has a way of demanding payment for heroism, and the ledger of life and death never balances itself in favor of the righteous. Within months, Wyatt learned that the woman he had owed his life to had become the subject of every lawman's curse and outlaw hunter's dream. The local sheriff had put a bounty on her head, $5,000 at first, then 10, then 15. Legends grew faster than the fires in the dry grasslands. Stories of her exploits circulated from town to town. She robbed stagecoaches without a single unnecessary shot. She eluded entire posses by vanishing into canyons that no ordinary man could navigate. She rescued settlers from violent renegades, and sometimes she disappeared into the night, leaving behind only whispers and the promise of vengeance. Wyatt had been trying to find her ever since, though not to arrest her, no. That was never in question, but to understand. How could the woman who once saved him become a force that terrorized the West? What had happened to her? In the months after their fateful encounter, to twist her into an outlaw whose reputation preceded her like a shadow that darkened the horizon? His answer came unexpectedly one evening, as the sky bled pink and gold over Red Creek. Wyatt was returning from a supply run when he noticed a faint figure standing atop a ridge outside town. She was unmistakable. His heart recognized her long before. His eyes could fully focus. Her coat was worn, dust-colored, blending seamlessly with the barren landscape, and her hat tilted low over those sharp green eyes. The twin revolvers at her hips glinted in the fading light. She hadn't changed, yet everything about her screamed danger. "Lara," Wyatt called softly, almost afraid that speaking her name might shatter the fragile reality of seeing her alive. She turned, and for a moment, her eyes softened, a fleeting shadow of the woman who had saved him. Then the cold, dangerous edge returned. She nodded, acknowledging him, but she didn't approach. "You shouldn't have come here," she said, her voice steady and controlled, carrying the weight of countless battles fought and survived. "I needed to see you," Wyatt admitted, stepping closer, careful not to make her think he intended to restrain her. "I need to understand how it came to this." Lara's jaw tightened. "Do you want the truth, Wyatt? Or do you want the story that makes it easier to sleep at night?" "Truth," he said without hesitation. Her eyes darkened, and she finally descended the ridge toward him, boots kicking up small clouds of dust. "After that day, after I saved you, I tried to disappear. I thought if I left, nobody would find me, and maybe I could disappear from the world, start over." Her laugh was bitter. "But the world doesn't allow you to vanish when you're good at killing men and when people know your name." One bounty led to another, one encounter to another. The law came for me, outlaws came for me, and the men I'd once trusted betrayed me. I learned quickly that mercy gets you dead faster than hate ever could. So I made a choice, survive by any means necessary. Wyatt's heart sank. He could see the ghosts in her eyes, the lives she had taken, the betrayals she had endured, and the iron determination that had transformed her from savior to outlaw. "And the people you help?" he asked gently. "The settlers, the innocents you've rescued? They call me a hero sometimes, but I don't think of it that way," she admitted. "I protect them only because I can, because if I don't, someone else will die." The world doesn't care about the good intentions of women like me. Only survival matters. They walked together into town, keeping to the shadows, avoiding the main streets where the law might recognize her. She moved like a shadow herself, every step calculated, every glance wary. Children peeked from behind doors, wide-eyed, as stories of Lara the outlaw had reached even the youngest ears. Men whispered in corners, reaching for their guns, imagining the cost of underestimating her. Over the next days, Wyatt witnessed the legend in action. Lara intervened when a gang threatened a family ranch, disarming the ringleader with a single shot that left him pinned to the ground. No one else dared approach. She negotiated with calm authority, but the slightest defiance brought a flash of steel from her revolvers. By night, she vanished, leaving only the memory of her presence and the certainty that she would return if needed. Wyatt found himself conflicted. He had once believed in the law, in the idea that justice could be administered fairly and without compromise. Lara had shown him otherwise. In her, he saw both the cruelty of necessity and the nobility of someone who understood that survival sometimes required bending or breaking the rules. Their reunion culminated one stormy evening. Wyatt had been cornered by a group of mercenaries hired to claim the growing bounty on Lara's head, mistaken in thinking he could lead them to her. He fought valiantly but was outnumbered, and bullets tore through the rain-soaked street. Just as he felt the grip of despair tighten around him, Lara emerged from the shadows, pistols blazing, moving like lightning through the chaos. By the time the mercenaries understood what had happened, they were either retreating or lying unconscious in the mud. Wyatt caught his breath, drenched in rain and grime, staring at her. "You've become more than I ever imagined," he said. "I had no choice," she replied, eyes hard, yet softened slightly at the edges when she looked at him. "The world makes you either hunter or hunted. I chose not to be prey." For a moment, the storm around them felt like a quiet sanctuary. Two souls shaped by the cruelty of the frontier stood together, bound by a past that had saved one and forged the other into a force to be reckoned with. From that day on, Lara's legend only grew. She became a name spoken with reverence and fear across the plains. Settlements learned to respect the shadow that moved between them, protecting innocence while eluding those who sought to cage her. Wyatt stayed nearby, a silent witness and the one man she trusted not to call her criminal. He understood that some lines were crossed not out of desire, but out of necessity, and some heroes wore the guise of outlaws. Years later, stories of the woman who had saved a deputy only to become the most dangerous outlaw would echo through taverns, campfires, and whispers in law offices. And somewhere in the heart of the untamed West, Lara rode alone, a living testament to the price of survival, the burden of heroism, and the quiet, unshakable power of a woman who refused to be tamed. Even in her absence, people remembered her, the woman who saved a man's life and, in doing so, wrote her own legend across the wide, lawless expanse of the frontier.